Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you a first perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, can the Toronto Raptors make it out of the East this upcoming season? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Be sure to check out our Dreamers Pro Short Clips channel, which is linked in the description below, as well as our Dreamers Pro podcast, which we have there available for you guys, for those of you guys who like to consume your content via audio. So all of that is there for you guys. So with that being said, let's just get straight into the content here today. So today we're talking about the Toronto Raptors. All right, we haven't done some content on them in a while, so I wanted to just focus on them for a moment here. So let's talk about them. As we all know, the Toronto Raptors finally broke through and they won their first title 2 seasons ago, and it was very exciting to see an organization that had always sort of gotten to the right to the tip of winning, right to the edge of winning the championship, but finally able to get over the hump. And it was a really great thing for basketball. I think basketball grew. As y'all know, Canada has a huge basketball market, so it helped the NBA, I'm sure, because it expanded their game in a completely different country. So I think that was really great for the league. But the reasons I think they were able to get over the hump were a number of different things. Number one, great coaching, right? The Toronto Raptors have an exceptional coach in Nick Nurse. The guy just knows his X's and O's. He's a great team manager. He knows how to manage different personalities very well. He has a good temperament to himself. He seems like a guy that knows how to encourage his players, but at the same time, be strict and a disciplinarian. He understands. He's one of these guys that has a pulse on in the players in the locker room. For example, if you talk about a Doc Rivers, who recently parted ways with the Los Angeles Clippers, that wasn't the case, right? A lot of the players in the locker room seem to sort of detest Doc Rivers, but in this case, Nick Nurse really seems to be a very great coach that his players respond to. Secondly, we got to talk about the players, right? The Toronto Raptors have a very good complement of players. If you look at their roster, they have Marc Gasol, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Serge Ibaka, Norman Powell, and these guys. These are just a great bunch of veteran leaders that understand their roles on a team and they know how to play to their strengths. Simple and plain. These guys, they understand their roles. There's no ego. They have a very good system in place. And when you have a great compilation of players and a very great coach and a very great team president, probably the best team president in the NBA, and Masai Ujiri, what you're going to have is a great culture. And that's what the Toronto Raptors had, and that's what sort of helped them to always remain at the top of the Eastern Conference for all of these years, and then ultimately put themselves in a position where they were able to finally get the right player to get over the hump. Now, we all know, even after they won their championship with Kawhi Leonard, although it was a team championship because all of these guys really stepped up big in the playoffs. Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam in certain moments, Serge Ibaka played really big minutes and important minutes for that team when they were making their championship run. All of these guys contributed to the success of the Toronto Raptors winning their title 2 seasons ago. But since then, the team has been able to sustain a high level of excellence, given the fact that they lost a superstar in Kawhi who went to another team and they didn't replace him with anyone. Instead, what they asked was Pascal Siakam step up to the plate and get a little bit better. And that's what Pascal Siakam did. If you look at his numbers, his production from the 2018-2019 season, in the 2018-2019 season, the guy averaged 17 points a game. He shot 55% from the field, which is very efficient. He shot 37% from the three-point line. Now, granted, he was attempting 2.7, making 1 a game, so he wasn't attempting that many. He shot 78.5% from the field, which is pretty good for a player that's only been in the league for 3 years at that time. He got you 6.9 rebounds, which is solid, 3.1 assists. Then he got you 0.9 steals and 0.7 blocks. This following this season that we just went through, he improved. His minutes went up by 4 minutes. He played about 35 minutes a game. He got you 23 points a game, so his scoring average went up about 7 points. So that's a really big improvement. But it also meant that his field goals attempts went up. The season before, he was averaging 11.8. This season, he averaged 18.4. So there's a good correlation with the fact that his points went up, given the fact that he had more opportunity to score, given the fact that Kawhi Leonard was gone, and they asked him to, hey, listen, pick up more of the scoring load. His field goal percentage dropped down from 55% to 45%, which makes sense because the more you shoot, the chances are your field goal percentage will go down unless you're Kevin Durant or one of these guys. His three-point percentage was still pretty impressive. He shot 36% from the three-point line. His free throw percentage went up, shot 79 from the free throw line. Got you 7.3 rebounds. So his rebounding went up. His assists went up from 3.1 to 3.5. So he improved there. His steals went up and his blocks went up. So Pascal Siakam really improved, and he took another step. This step that I believe that the ownership and the leadership of that organization needed him to do in order for them to be an even better team, given the fact that they lost. They lost Kawhi Leonard. So if you looked at them this year in the playoffs, they look poised. Given the fact that they did not have a legitimate superstar, Pascal Siakam is not a superstar. He's an all-star. He's not a superstar. But they were able to get out of the first round, and they made it to the second round where they had a very exciting series against the Boston Celtics, but they lost, right? They lost, and I think that the reason that they lost was because they just didn't have a go-to guy, and we saw that Pascal Siakam could not take that next step in the playoffs, right? They needed a bona fide superstar, right? Which is pretty much what all teams need. It's no different for the Lakers, Clippers, the Milwaukee Bucks or whatever. You need at least one, bona fide superstar to be able to get over the hump. Now, the question is, though, will they be legitimate title contenders in the Eastern Conference this season? Well, we got to look at the landscape. Miami made it to the finals, and I think all of us that watched the series between the Miami Heat, who watched the Miami Heat in the playoffs, period, will give the Miami Heat a lot of credit and a lot of respect for how they were able to make it to the NBA Finals, given the fact that they were able to beat the Milwaukee Bucks, which was extremely impressive, beat the Celtics and get to the NBA Finals and push that thing to 6 games, given the fact that number one scorer in the playoffs was not healthy. So for me, I think the Miami Heat are going to come back with more confidence. Their players are going to get a little bit better. And given the fact that Pat Riley is at the helm of that organization, I think that he's going to probably make the right moves to put them in an even better situation. Then we got to look at the Philadelphia 76ers. They got a new coach in Doc Rivers, and they got a new GM just recently in Daryl Morey. So looking at them, given the fact that they have a new coach, that Doc Rivers seems to be able to get through to some players, chances are one would assume that the Philadelphia 76ers would be a little bit better, given the fact that now Doc Rivers is going to be coaching Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. So one would assume that they're at least going to be in the top 4, top 5 seeds in the Eastern Conference. Then we have sort of the dark horse in the Eastern Conference, which is the New Jersey Nets, who will be getting back Kyrie Irving and the best player in the Eastern Conference in Kevin Durant. Some people can argue he's probably the best player in the world. We'd have to wait and see what he looks like after coming off his Achilles rupture. But nevertheless, the Brooklyn Nets are going to be in play in the Eastern Conference. Now, are they going to have the number 1 seed? We don't know. Are they going to have the number 2, number 3 seed? What we don't know. Now, I suspect that the Toronto Raptors, given the fact of all of the things that are aforementioned, I suspect that they're going to be in the top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference because they're just too good, too well coached. The culture is just too solid for them not to be in the top 5. I will be surprised if they fall out of the top 5, but I definitely think there will be the top 4 seed, one of the top 4 seeds in the Eastern Conference. And also, we got to look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Although they flamed out in the playoffs this year, Giannis didn't deliver like we expected him to against the Miami Heat. Nevertheless, they're still an Eastern Conference powerhouse. I think they'd had the number 1 seed last season. You're going to have the reigning back-to-back regular season MVP and Defensive Player of the Year coming back. And I think that the Milwaukee Bucks are still going to be solid in the Eastern Conference, which brings me to this sort of final conclusion. I think that they need to make another move, right? I don't know how they're going to get another player, if they're going to be able to put a package together to get another player to go alongside Pascal Siakam. And I think Pascal Siakam needs to take the next step as a big-time player, right? He needs to continue to improve and have a carryover effect. If you look at his regular season numbers last season, I just showed it to you. You can see his growth. When he got to the playoffs, however, we saw a drop-off in production, and that can't happen. Pascal Siakam needs to take the next step as a playoff player, because let's face it, the Toronto Raptors are being measured by their success in the playoffs. They've had the Eastern Conference, like they've done well in the Eastern Conference many a times. But now we're looking at whether or not this guy can take the next step as a player, and probably he needs help. Are they going to be able to get somebody? I don't know. Maybe they can find a way to get Bradley Beal. Who knows, right? But I think that they'll probably need to make another move, or Pascal Siakam needs to take a leap. And even then, when Kawhi Leonard was playing with them, he had Pascal Siakam as his Robin. Who, even if Pascal Siakam becomes the man, who's going to be his Robin? And that's another thing that we need to look at. So if you're asking me, I think they have a good chance to compete in the East for sure. I think they have a very good chance because of the experience, their culture, their confidence, coaching, players, and all of these different things. I just think that Pascal needs to take the next step, and they may be one piece away, as they were 2 seasons ago. Because remember, when Kawhi Leonard walked away, they didn't get anything in return. It wasn't like as if it was a trade. They didn't really get anything in return. So I think that could be the final thing that the Toronto Raptors need to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So what I want to know from you guys is quite simple. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Toronto Raptors can definitely make it out of the Eastern Conference, given all of the things I just mentioned in this video? Or do you think, hey, listen, man, their window's over, their window's closed, and you think this is it? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamers Pro, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.